My brothers and sisters and my beloved confreres, a very hearty welcome to each one of you to the 22nd Sunday of the liturgical year. Luke the Evangelist today presents Jesus in the place of a banquet. If we go through the Synoptic Gospels as well as the Gospel of John, we would find there are about 40 banquets mentioned therein, in which Jesus himself participated. The meal was always for the Lord a time of healing, a time of reconciliation, in fact, a time of miracle. Something different happened at the moment of every meal. And that is precisely also the reason Eucharist is a meal, one of the greatest miracles, where the bread and wine that we offer to the Lord becomes his own body and blood. Jesus and meal are so intensely connected with each other. It's in this context we see this meal as a means of new life directive from the part of Jesus. The evangelist beautifully mentions that when Jesus came for this banquet, people watched him very carefully because they knew he will say something different and he will act differently. As Shiv Khera, one of the famous Indian authors, says, great people do not do different things. They do things differently. And exactly that is what Jesus did. As people were watching him, Jesus was also watching the people who came for this banquet. And he noticed one very important thing. Many of these people were rushing towards the highest places of honor which were arranged in the banquet hall. And that made Jesus to think differently. Therefore, he tells them a small parable. When you are invited for a banquet, go and take the lowest place so that the host will come to you now and say, come, take the highest place. But suppose if you go to the highest place first, the host would come to you perhaps and say, please go down to the next place because someone higher than you have arrived. What a humiliation it will be. Jesus today is teaching a means of humility. We need to be self-conscious, at the same time not proud people. That's why the book of Sirach, the first reading today, mentions about one very special thing. It says, my son, perform your tasks in meekness. An intelligent mind always ponders about parables, and a wise man's heart desires nobility. Yes, we need to become people of parables, people who think differently, people who act nobly, and that's where humility lies. Grace flows into those areas which are humble and meek. That's precisely later Jesus himself says, I'm gentle and meek, follow me. And that is the welcome message for us today. But he does not stop this message for those who are coming to participate in the banquet. But he also says, those who are inviting them to the meal, to the banquet. He tells, when you call someone to a banquet meal, you call people who are not able to call you back so that you will not be paid back. Call the lame, call the meek, and call the blind. 3 varieties of people who were considered to be in the lowest strata of the society. People who were never invited for a public program. I have some personal experience of such humility shown by people of great goodness. At present, I'm staying in a children's home, giving some attention to poor children who are entrusted to our care. We have some good experience of great people coming there. Sometimes, people who are well-to-do in the society call us and tell us, Father, my child is celebrating his birthday, but we would like to do it this year in a different way. We would like to come to your home and there celebrate the birthday of my son together with your children who are there. And you know, our children, together with me, another priest and a brother, our children are children from battered and difficult backgrounds. They have perhaps not experienced much of these hi-fi celebrations. But the goodness of these people, they come there, they bring the cake to be cut, and they call all our children along with their son and cut the cake, celebrate together, singing happy birthday. When Jesus mentions about the meek, humble, and the blind, he mentions about people who are not privileged in the society, who have no chance otherwise to come up in the society if you are not willing. Can we today take a different turn in our attention towards those who are in need of our attention? Yes, my brothers and sisters, these people are not very far away from us. They may be perhaps in our own homes, in our houses, in our families, in our communities, in our relationships. We find people who are very lame, blind, and crippled. Shall we extend not only our hands, our financial support, but much more than, shall we open wide our hearts so that they have a place inside? And that is the banquet Jesus will like to participate. Therefore, we need to take this banquet from a special perspective. Yes, Jesus mentions about the two dimensions of a banquet. First and foremost, that you should be able to understand your own status in the context of this banquet. I remember the wonderful incident mentioned about the first German Chancellor, Otto von Bismarck. It is said, this great Chancellor was once invited by a friend of him for a banquet. And the Chancellor came on time. As soon as he came in, he went along with the rest of the ordinary people who were gathered there for the banquet. As soon as the host noticed that the great Chancellor is sitting among the ordinary people, he came and told, your place is the first place because you are the first in our country. But Otto von Bismarck said, where I sit is the first place. See the humility of this man. Let us take this humble attitude in our relationship with the other. On the other side, humility leads to practical aspect of commitment to those who are at the peripheries of the society. Let us have this idea. The lame, blind, and the crippled, whom Jesus is mentioning in the gospel today, are not outside of us. They are inside. Perhaps I may be also that lame, blind, and the crippled. Perhaps the ones who are coming to me are those lame, blind, and the crippled. Shall we once again look at Jesus and ask the Lord, Lord, where am I in my life? Amen.